This video is a little bit tongue-in-cheek. I've been in the industry for many years. I've seen many things and I've come across many people. And the one thing that I've noticed is that butchers seem to be some of the cleverest people that you can find. And I'm saying this because they always know better. They always think they know better. They can always do better. I am the best butcher. I make the best this. I am the best. I am the fastest. Me. You know what? It's not about you. It's about the customer. And it's about the customer's experience. It's about the experience when the person walks into the establishment, into the butchery, into the supermarket, wherever. And it's about the products that the customer buys and the safety that's connected to that, almost more than the actual flavor of it and the quality. You know, it needs to be safe. It needs to be a product of a high quality or a high standard. And you need to make sure that you follow the right procedures. Now, whenever I speak to a butcher about training, they always know everything. I know everything. I don't need training. Or, hey, your people need training. My people do not need training. They are the best people. I train them. Well, guess what? Unfortunately, you don't. You can't know everything. People who've been in the industry for many years still learn on a daily basis. It's the people that are open to new things and that are open to experimentation and open to learning, and they are the ones who really end up making a difference. They are the ones who start investing in their people. They're the ones who look after their people, because ultimately, as much as you can do everything as a butcher, you can't be everywhere, even if you own your own butchery. In fact, even more so, because you focus on running your business, you focused on getting everything sorted out, and then you still have a whole bunch of other stuff that come over your table, and you need to deal with that. And unfortunately, the nature of the beast is meat, working with meat takes a long time, and it's a lot of work. It's not simply something that you do just for the sake of doing. If you're going to do it properly, it's going to take you a while to do that. So what I've seen is that a butcher, for example, will need to make boerewors. Now, boerewors, for anybody who isn't watching this from South Africa, it's a traditional South African sausage. It's very popular and it's actually highly legislated. So there's certain things that you can and can't put into it. It covers any soyas that you can't add to it. It covers the meat and fat ratio. It covers what can be called boerewors. So it's a very it's a very generic product, but it's also very specialized. It's a bit of an oxymoron. And what I've seen is it comes to, let's say, later in the day, and the fridge is starting to get a little bit empty. So you don't want to run out. So you're going to quickly make half a batch of boerewors, because you don't want to sit with nothing, but you also don't want to make a whole batch and it's going to sit in the fridge and you basically lose a whole day's worth of shelf life. Now, there are spice companies who's been around for many years, and they've done a lot of research and they put a lot of money into developing recipes or batch packs or spice packs, whatever you want to call them. But the cleverest thing is a butcher who's in a hurry or just too lazy to actually weigh everything. So what they'll do is they'll take, and these are the experienced people, and this is what scares me. So they'll look at a tray and say, all right, that's roughly, let's say the batch is 20 kilos. So that's roughly 10 kilos. I need half a batch. Okay, cool. I'm happy with that. So then it's not weighed. It's just I think that's about that much. When it comes to the spices, you've got two types of people, two types of clever people. So they'll take the spice and say, okay, this is about half a batch, and just add it. A lot of them don't even use the scale. Then you've got the other person who takes a full packet and then just starts sprinkling and just sort of feel, yeah, okay, I think that's enough. And the same goes with the water or the liquid that they add, and they just add, and nothing gets weighed. In theory, I suppose there's nothing wrong with it, but in reality, there's a lot wrong with it, because you end up with an inconsistent product. So from a taste perspective, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not a bad product. It's just not a great product. It's not a great tasting product. It's not something that'll make you sick, but it's not something that you're going to enjoy. And there's always a question: who makes the best? Who sells the best meat? Who makes the best boerewors? Who is the best? And unfortunately, for a lot of people, they fall off the boat when it comes to this, because they're not consistent. Consistency is probably one of the most important things after food safety, and obviously the way in which you work with your meat, equipment safety, people safety, trying to eliminate all the various forms of contamination. Consistency is probably one of the biggest things that will either make or break your business, after the safety sort of things. And I don't understand why people do that, why people think they are clever. Because you also stand the risk of, if you make a horrible product, you're going to have to throw it away because you can't use it. Because if you've made it already and it's already got spices in it, you can't use it for something else. You can't just add to it, because then you're just making a bigger mess of the whole thing. So, as a butcher with many years of experience, I've seen many things, and sometimes I just put my hands up and I have to walk away, because there's no cure for that. Especially if you speak to a person, you want to help them, you want to help their business, and they just basically cut you off and think and even say that they don't need training, and their people don't need training, and they're good to go. But unfortunately for them, what they don't realize is if you go and sit down and you go and analyze your business, you are actually in trouble. Because if you're not going forward, if you're not growing, if you're not making better products, you're not getting more people into your store, you are going backwards. And I've seen so many of these clever butchers, clever business owners, they own butcheries, but they're not butchers. I've seen plenty of them, unfortunately, having to close their doors because people stop buying from them, people stop supporting them. And unfortunately, ultimately, you've got yourself to blame, nobody else. It's you, it's your own doing, and it's because you're trying to be clever. So follow the recipes and ask for advice, ask for information, make sure your people are trained, make sure that you give them the best tools at their disposal, because remember, they are the ones that are making the product. In general, if you look at a typical manager / owner of a meat market or a butchery, they're not involved in making the products. I know of one or two who are actually involved in the process as much as possible, and actually work the counters and make sure that things are okay. And those people are doing really well. But the average manager / owner generally sit behind the computer, and there's other things that needs to happen. And I get that. It's not because you're lazy. There's so many other things that needs to happen. And the more you empower your staff, the more you can trust them. The more you can trust them, the less you have to do, the less you have to check up on. Then you can just manage your business. You can work on your business as opposed to in it. So the point I'm trying to make is, don't be a clever butcher.